Get into the shirt. Get into the shirt. Yeah, because that's the winning team that I want to be a part of. That name right there, Oprah, Beyonce, Issa, me, Alexandria. Yes, that's what I want to do. I want to be a part of the winner circle. We all should want to be a part of the winner circle. It's Alexandria here with Stay Dumb, and I'm so excited that you're here. Be sure to subscribe on YouTube and also the Facebook page at Stay Dumb, and also on Instagram at We Are Stay Dumb. So I wanted to make this video so I could explain to you what Stay Dumb means, how it came about, and why you should join the community. Don't know how long this video is going to take, but just bear with me, okay? Because I really want you to understand why this was created and why you should be a part of it. Okay, let's do it. Let's get into it. So, Stay Dumb. What does it mean? How did I formulate this concept? Go. Okay, so it started in 2018. I had created the Arise and Arrive networking brunch. It was held at the Cass Museum right here in Saginaw, and about 60 to 70 people showed up. I moderated a panel of about 4 people who were all under 30, and at the time, they were all doing really great in their respective fields. And I said, you know what? I'm seeing all of you guys on social media. I want you to share your story in front of a group of people. I want you to share your story at this event I'm going to host. Now, I had been hosting events in my job at the time, but this was my first solo project, and I wanted to see if I had the chops to do it, and I did. So I did it. You know, sometimes you just have to try it and see what happens, and that's what I did. I tried it and I seen what happened, and it was a really good turnout, and I was very proud of myself for doing so. After that event, I wanted to have something else, didn't know what it was going to look like just yet, because in my mind, I never tried to recreate what I've already done. I'm always trying to do something bigger, better, every single time. So in 2018, I actually had the opportunity to go out to California to moderate at the Fearless Conference. And so I co-moderated the panel with another woman, and who were on the panel at the time was Monique. She's the founder and CEO of Mael Organics. So she created that brand. Also Rainbow Barris, if you know Kenya Barris, that's his wife. And it was also another woman named Barbara who was a part of Facebook at the time. And so being a part of that event was completely amazing. Ariane Simone put it on, and again, it was called the Fearless Conference. And so to see what she created in Hollywood at the beautiful, the W Hotel. And so I was just like, yo, I'm loving this, and I want to do things like that. Because for me, coming from Saginaw, which is not a huge town, I would have to drive to Detroit in order to be a part of or to witness networking events and empowerment events. And I said, where's this at in my hometown? Who's putting this stuff on? And I didn't see anybody, or just maybe people that was in my age group who were doing it, and I just figured I'd do it. So that's why I started to do events. So we're gonna get into Stay Dumb. So again, my brunch was called Arise and Arrive. I really didn't connect with the name. I didn't really like it. And so I just kept thinking about, what do I want to call this brand? What do I want to call it? Because even at that time, I was looking at myself as a brand. As you can see the shirt, Oprah, Beyonce, Issa, Alexandria, these women have brands. They have things that they are doing, and then all of these little subsidiary businesses under them. So that's how my brain works. And I'm always like, okay, I want to be big like that. How do I be big like that? And what are they doing? So anyway, 2018 was a rough year for me. At the time, I was going through a divorce, so life was lifing. And I just really had to go through that process before even trying to create something different and something new. So at the end of 2018, I was divorced, and rolling into 2019, me and my best friend, we just really sat down and we had this conversation about what do you want to do? Which pathway do you want to take? And so prior, I was working my 9-to-5 in nonprofit, but also I had photography going on, but I also would do makeup. So as a creative, and any creatives out there, you know that you probably have multiple talents and gifts that you have, but what's going to be the core gift that's going to that you're going to take on in your career? Not to say that you have to leave anything else behind, but what are you going to focus on? And so for me, I was trying to figure out, what is that focus going to be? Is it going to be public relations? Is it going to be photography? Is it going to be aesthetics? Like, figure it out. So beginning of 2019, I kept being encouraged by family and friends, like, you should just go to aesthetic school. Like, you enjoy beauty, you like makeup and all of that, so just go get licensed, go get certified, and then get your license. So I decided to go to school. I went to a school in Flint, and so it was only like 3 to 4 months, the program, but I was able to still work my 9 to 5 and go to school in the evening. At the time, I still was thinking about what my brand was going to be called. Okay. So I was just like, okay, what's the name gonna be? Because I don't like Arise and Arrive, but what am I going to call this new brand? And so what was resonating for me at that time was, you got 2 ears and 1 mouth. You got 2 ears, 1 mouth for a reason. And so I kept thinking about that, like, God gave us 2 ears for a reason, and that's to listen. Like, not doing so much talking, but listen, okay? And so when I was making my prayers, like, God, which way do you want me to go? What am I supposed to be doing? You got to get still in order to hear God. God doesn't come in this huge, like, loud voice. I think it's always in the stillness. And I also think that a lot of times you find answers when you're quiet. So, and that means closing your mouth. For me also, I used to speak a lot of defeat over my life, a lot of fear. And anytime that I would speak negative things occurred. And so my best friend would tell me, like, you need to stop saying stuff like that. Stop being negative, because every time you say it, it comes to pass for you. And I was just like, you're right. You are so right. So I had to really get quiet and just get still and get to praying, like, God, okay, what is it that you want out of me? What's my next step? And so one day I was just thinking about the word dumb, and I was just like, oh, we use dumb in our vocabulary, like, oh, that's dumb. So I was like, let me look this word up. And so I went to Google. I'm like looking up dumb. Like, I really wanted to know the definition of it. And what I found was that it meant to be temporarily or unable to speak. Dumb means being unable to speak. And so getting rid of Arise and Arrive, I wanted something more edgy, because I knew if I had a brand name that people would question, then we could have a conversation. So I was like, okay, dumb. Okay. Stay dumb. Stay dumb. Like, that's what we have to do in our life. Sometimes you just have to stay dumb. Stop talking. Just stop talking. Don't even speak the fear over your life. Sometimes just stop talking and allow other people to give you a word, because you don't have to take everything that somebody says in, but be willing to listen to them and then decide, do I want to receive their advice, or do I just want to push it to the side? But the only way that you can is if you listen. So I decided to go with Stay Dumb, and that's how the name was formed. Stay Dumb was just me saying, stop talking and listen. Stop talking and listen. And then the philosophy, say less, listen more. So as Stay Dumb came about, I was like, okay, I'm running with this name. That's going to be the name that I'm going to use for events, and eventually a podcast. I knew I wanted to do a podcast many years ago. It had been sitting on my vision board, but honestly, I was just too afraid to do it. Sometimes you think when you're putting your voice out there, you wonder if you're going to get rejected, if people are going to follow you, if you're going to look sharp and on point. And so for me, I'm not going to lie, I'm a huge perfectionist. I want things to be done right, but sometimes you don't have to wait till it's perfect. You may not know all of the information right away. You just have to get going. And once you start, I think the information starts to come, as long as it's in alignment with what God has for you. And so every time that I have been scared to do something, but I've done it anyway, God has always provided the answer, has always provided the way. And I'm going to continue to go on with this story, because when I went out to California and I got the chance to be a moderator at the Fearless Conference, that was 2018, the next day after that conference, my cousin and I went to work out on this rooftop on a hotel. Beautiful, just a beautiful format and layout. There were people working out. They had a DJ, a pool. It was just so much stuff happening. And again, I kept thinking, where is this at in Michigan? Where can I find people working out, Black people especially, working out on a rooftop. Like, I would go to something like that. So immediately when I get back home, I'm trying to figure out, like, where are some rooftops at? Because I don't even think there's any in Saginaw. So that's my brain. I just get to thinking, and I'm looking around, I'm searching for different places. And so I didn't find a rooftop here in Saginaw, but I found one in Flint. So I kind of held that on, and I'm like, okay, it's a rooftop in Flint. I'm gonna do it someday. I just don't know when yet. And so at the time, I was still bigger. I was bigger in size, and I needed to go through my journey of losing weight and also meeting different trainers. So again, 2019 rolls around. I joined aesthetic school. I'm working my 9 to 5. I go to aesthetic school. I'm also raising my daughter, but I'm also still thinking about having this fitness event as well. So at this point, I'm connecting with different trainers, and I'm pitching the idea to those trainers. Like, hey, you should create a fitness event. Have you ever thought about doing it on a rooftop? And you should get a DJ and blah, blah, blah. And I just kept going. And so they would look at me kind of like I was crazy, like, okay, that sounds nice, but okay. And so I realized that they were not going to get it done. They were not going to execute on my vision because I was the one who witnessed that event in California. How can you expect somebody else to do it? So I realized God was saying, Alexandria, you're going to do it. So stop telling everybody else. You're going to do it. And I was just like, okay, God. So finished up with 2019. I had ended up becoming a PR consultant for the school I was going to. I did some consulting work for them. And then I had landed another client in September of 2019. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe God is taking me down the route for PR. And so with that client, it really didn't work out, but there were a lot of lessons that I learned in that one. So again, just because things don't work out, it could be redirection for you, but it also is, you have to ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What is this moment teaching me? And so I was able to go through that process and say, okay, this is what it taught me. And I don't regret anything that I've done. I don't regret any of the routes I've taken in my life because they've all taught me something. And so finishing up with 2019, I still had that client on, and then 2020 rolls around, and of course, pandemic happened. Prior to that, prior to March of like 2020, when everything kind of shut down, I, at the time, was getting ready to have my networking mixer. So I had came up with another idea. I was like, I'm going to have a networking mixer, and I'm going to have a panel, and it's going to be people in the crowd, and we're going to do it at the Horizons in Saginaw. So I put the deposit down for the Horizons. My event is going to happen April 2020. I got the panelists all ready to go. And of course, pandemic happened. I had to cancel the event. So I'm just like, God, like, what? Like, I thought this was going to happen. I thought this was the route, you know? And so that occurred. And so we all were just playing the waiting game, right? And that pandemic really proved how we were missing connection and how important connection is. We have to be around people. We are tribal people. Yeah, we got social media, and I was happy to be able to be connected to people through social media, but we have to still do in-person things. So, of course, the fitness event is still thinking in my head. The networking mixer is still there because I had already laid a deposit down to have it at this establishment. But 2020 is here. What can I do right now? So, what did I do? Juneteenth was coming up. I wanted to have an event for Juneteenth, but of course things were still what it was in 2020. And so there were a group of girls in Flint who bought out this donut shop. It was a Black-owned donut shop. They raised money and people were able to go in and get free donuts. I'm like, oh, I'm going to do that too. And we're going to do it right here in Saginaw. So I talked to my best friend. I said, hey, since we can't have an event for Juneteenth, clearly we can't make something happen. How about we reach out to the people on our phone? I said, I was listening to this guy on the Breakfast Club, and he said that if you can't contact 10 people in your phone and ask for money, then you need to change your contacts. And so she was just like, okay, what are we going to say? So I create this long paragraph. We send it out to contacts in our phone. She sends it out. I send it out. And I'm like, it doesn't matter the dollar amount. You know, you can Cash App us, whatever. We just want to raise money so we can support a Black-owned business. We raised over $1,000 in 3 days. And what we did with that money, we divvied it up. We split it between a coffee house in Saginaw and then this restaurant in Saginaw. And I'm so proud of us for doing that, because it was, it can be kind of tough to ask people for money, especially people that you don't normally ask money from. And so, and I was also nervous because I just was nervous about it, but I'm glad we did it. And I'm glad we were able to support those businesses. And from that, because we donated, it was a pay it forward movement. People reached out to those businesses separately and said, hey, we want to donate money too, so you can continue to give out free, products and drinks and food. And so it really turned out to be an amazing moment, I think, in the both of our lives, me and my best friend. So I'm glad we were able to do that. So that happened in June of 2020, and I'm still itching to do another event. By this point, I had started working as an esthetician inside my home, and I was just in like the third bedroom in the home. And so I was like, I need to build my clientele up. So me and my best friend were coming up with ideas of how I can build my clientele. At the time, she had read this book from an author here in Saginaw. And so we're just going back and forth talking. And she was like, well, maybe you can come to my house and set up, and we could, invite some people over and you can do your services here. And I was like, okay. So she's also telling me about this book. And I was like, how about, idea here, how about we have a pamper party? And so I come up with this huge idea to have a pamper party. I'm like, we're going to have, we're going to have refreshments. We'll have some food, some drinks, and then I could do my services. And then the author can come in and talk about her book, and we'll invite a bunch of women. And so my friend was just like, yeah, you can do that at your house. You're not doing it at mine. And I was like, okay. So we ended up doing this backyard pamper party at my house. I'm offering services. So I'm doing like 15-minute facials. And then the author comes, and then she speaks to us, and she's telling us about her book. We got drinks, we got food, and it was so much fun. And so it just goes to show that whatever you got inside of you, if you want to create something, you can do it. You don't need a lot of resources. I'm telling you, you can do it. When we pitched that tent in the backyard, it was some group of guys who were walking down the street, and we said, hey, come here, come help us pitch this tent. So you just gotta ask. You gotta ask people. It's just so funny to think about it, because I can't believe we did it. And it was just a fun night. And it was only maybe like 10 to 15 women that was here. And I would say maybe less than. But again, I executed, right? It was an idea that I executed on. And whatever idea you have to execute on it. Stop having it just in your mind. You have to execute, even if no one shows up. Even if 2 people show up, you do it as if it was 100 people there. You don't stop and you don't quit on your dreams, because I promise you that the day will come that you will have the support that you need. But you have to put in the work right now, even if you don't have a huge tribe. So I wanted to say that. So anyway, pamper party happened. That was August of 2020. I finally quit my job in September, and I'm like, I'm gonna go full-fledged with aesthetics. This is how I'm gonna, have some income. So I do the aesthetics thing, and 2021 rolls around, and so I'm still thinking about the fitness event, the networking mixer. I still have the deposit ready to go with that establishment, but again, I know that it's not the time for it. And so by 2021, I found a trainer, and now the weight really came off, and people are reaching out to me asking questions about how can they lose weight and stuff like that. So at this point, it was just in my heart, and God was like, it's time. You're getting ready to do this fitness event. So June comes, I reach out to a bunch of trainers. I say, hey, I want you to be a part of my fitness event. What do you think about that? And they're like, okay. They didn't know what to expect, but they decided to be on board with the fitness event. And so we do a photo shoot. Mind you, I'm operating on esthetician money, which wasn't a lot. And I didn't know how I was going to pay for this thing. So God puts it on my heart to do this fitness event in 2021. And I don't know how I'm going to pay for it. I have no idea how I'm going to pay for this fitness event. But God was just like, you're gonna do it this year. You're doing it. And so I was like, okay. So again, there was a venue in Flint who had the rooftop. And so I reached out to them. They gave me the cost on it and everything. So I go look at the establishment, and because it's Michigan, I'm like, I don't know if I should still do it on the rooftop, because it could rain, it could snow, all in August. We don't know. Like, you can have 4 seasons in one day in Michigan. So the lady was like, well, let's look at the lower level of the marketplace. And so she was like, you can rent out these 3 areas. You can have your vendors here. You can do something with the kitchen, and then you can have the trainers in this room. And I was just like, yo, okay. So boom, another idea come. I'm like, I can rent out the kitchen. I know a chef who can cook. So the idea for the fitness event went up a level. It went from rooftop, just having like 1 trainer and a DJ, to having 5 trainers, a chef, and vendors. That's how God works. But again, I have esthetician money, and I'm like, God, I don't know how I'm gonna pay for all of this. Like, I done did a photo shoot with these trainers. I like to give gifts. So if you're a part of the event, you're gonna get a gift. And then I still had to finish the payment for the venue. And so July rolls around, and I'm thinking about this payment that's coming up. And I just said, God, look, I don't know how I'm gonna pay this, but you need to figure it out. And that's how I talk to God. I say, God, you need to figure it out. And so my friend, who I love so dearly, we met in the military. She reaches out to me and she's like, hey, do you know someone or yourself, or would you like to be a part of this job opportunity where you can role play the media? And I'm like, tell me more. I'm not going to tell anybody else about this. Tell me more. So she gets to explaining what the job position is, and I'm not going to go all into detail. This could be for another video. But anyway, I decided to take on this job opportunity. It was a contract position that allowed me to travel. I got reimbursed for travel, and I got paid, and it was an easy job. And so I'm like, yo, like, thank you, God. Literally, that contract position came at the nick of time, where I was able to finish the payment for the event. And I look back and I'm like, when something's in your heart, God will make a way. God will make a way, because y'all, I don't know how I was going to finish paying for that thing. But that's how sometimes I work. Sometimes I work off crazy faith, because I just believe that it's going to happen. Somehow, some way, it's going to happen. And I was able to pay for that event literally within like a week. I think you get paid maybe like 2 to 4 weeks after you're done with the contract. So it came in literally at the nick of time. So thank God for that opportunity. So that was 2021. I did the fitness event. It was called Stay Dumb, the fitness experience. And that was a lot of fun. And so I will have like pictures. So you're going to see all of that in this video. But we did that. And so, of course, now the networking mixer is still in my head. And I'm like, when are we going to do it? When am I going to do it? And so the networking mixer, I ended up putting a date on it. And I kicked that off in April of 2022. And so the panelists that I had originally had in 2020, only one agreed to be a part of the 2022 event. And so I had to reach out to different panelists for that networking mixer. But it went off. It did great. Over 100 people was in that room, and the feedback that I got was so positive. And I'm just so happy that I'm happy for the time in between. I was going to have that event in 2020, and I don't think it would have been what it was in 2022. I don't think I would have had the turnout, because you got to go through things. Life has to happen. Life has to life. And so I'm so grateful for that time, because I was able to lose weight. I was able to connect to different trainers. I was able to just connect to more people. And so that event happened in 2022. Stay Dumb, the networking mixer. And all I can say is just more to come with this brand. Stay Dumb is a community for people who are dreamers, who are creators, who are entrepreneurs, who are starting out, and they're looking for inspiration and encouragement. And so that comes through the events, it comes through the podcast, it comes through the interviews. Because of my PR background, I love, helping people be seen. So in any form or fashion that I can do that, if I can do an interview with an entrepreneur, that's an opportunity for them to be seen. If I can create an event and invite some entrepreneur in, that's an opportunity to be seen. So I know it might look like I do a lot and I have all of these different things in my background, but tell me who don't. People work multiple jobs all the time, and we're all, in a sense, just trying to figure it out. It's our journey. This is my journey, and this is what it looks like. But what I realized again is I enjoy helping people become seen. And this is what this platform is doing. Not only that, it's making myself, come in front of the camera. As much as I love being behind the scenes, I love helping other people. This gets me to be out in front as well. And so I think that you have to share your story so people can relate to you, so that they can connect, and so that they can be a part of your tribe. So if you are an entrepreneur, if you are a creator, if you are someone who's looking for motivation, this is the place for you. Stay Dumb is that community. So definitely, you got to get talking. So you have to follow on Facebook, like the page at Stay Dumb, follow on Instagram at We Are Stay Dumb, and be sure to subscribe on YouTube as well so you can see more of these videos. I will be doing interviews with different entrepreneurs from the Saginaw, Michigan area, and I hope to connect with entrepreneurs outside of Michigan. So if you are somebody who's doing great work, definitely reach out, because I would love to have an interview with you so that we can showcase on this beautiful channel. So I'm excited with Stay Dumb and what it's about to do. I'm excited for my brand, because I know that this is only the beginning. This is only the beginning. So if you like that, again, subscribe, follow the pages, Instagram. You can check out all of that information in the link below. I'm so excited for you to be on this journey with me. Thank you so much. And again, I'm Alexandria with Stay Dumb. Remember, say less,